Hello everybody, my name's Richard Watson and this is Anglais the Easy Way. Today I'd like to talk about reframing fluency. Now we've already talked about this in the past where we talked about communicating more than trying to speak at a certain rhythm. Today I'd like to concentrate on the speed trap. And it's like a speed stress trap. So I would say stop trying to outrun your own English. Lead the room with a professional or serious calm that demonstrates your authority. If you watch a high-stakes negotiation or a world-class speaker, the person with the most influence isn't the one talking the fastest. It's the person who remains perfectly calm. They don't rush their words, they own them. But for many of us, especially when we're speaking a second language, we've been taught a kind of lie. We've been told that fluency means speed. We think that if we speak fast, we look like experts. And if we speak slowly, we look like students. Today, we're going to get rid of what I call speed stress. We're going to reframe your pace, which means your speed, not as a struggle, but as calm, a state where you're in control of the clock. Now, the old mindset was a kind of lose-lose proposition. Where does the stress come from? Usually it comes from a very human desire. We want to be better than our best. We try to perform at 110% of our capacity. But here's the reality. Trying to do better than your best is a lose-lose proposition. First, you're trying to achieve speed, which, as we've discussed, isn't even that good an idea. High-speed speech often sounds nervous or defensive. Secondly, the fact that you're reaching for that artificial speed creates speed stress. Think about the physiology. When you try to outrun your own English, your breathing gets shallow. Your brain thinks you're in a survival situation, so it pulls energy away from your creative centers and your memory. That's why you forget a word you've known for years. You didn't lose the word, you stressed away from it. You're trying to speak at a pace that your brain can't maintain. And the result is a kind of a collapse of your authority. So let's replace speed with calm. In English logic, a person who's calm is a person who knows their words are valuable. Think of it as speed is stress and calm is certainty. Think about the person you're talking to. English is a stress-timed language. It's not a machine gun, it's a heartbeat. We have strong syllables and weak syllables. It needs peaks and valleys. It needs contour. And when you rush, you create a kind of wall of sound that's quite exhausting to listen to. So how do we actually build this place of calm when you speak? Well, we use a strategic pause. Silence isn't dead air, it's your authority. Here are 3 different kinds of pauses. The first is the pause for a comma. Just leave half a second. Use this to separate your ideas. It prevents the listener from feeling that it's coming too fast and helps them to understand it better. Then there's another pause. This one's a 2-second pause. It's for impact. You use it after you say something important. If you say, this project is our priority, and then you wait for 2 seconds, that priority becomes a fact. And then you have the pause when you're processing. If someone asks you a difficult question, don't jump onto the answer. Look them in the eye, take a slow breath, and then speak. This tells everybody, I'm thinking, and my answer will be worth the wait. And what's the result? Well, you stop trying to perform better than you can, and you start owning everything that you actually know. You find your vocabulary much more easily because your brain is relaxed. You sound like a leader who's thinking, not a student who's performing. So, let's say we've abandoned the stressful, impossible chase for speed and embraced the practical and empowering status of calm. So your mission this week is to apply the 2-second rule. Your job is to be the calmest person in the room when you're speaking English. Not because you're struggling, but because you're in control. So every time you hit a full stop, a period, as Americans would say, at the end of a sentence, count 1, 2 in your head before you start the next one. Watch what happens. Watch how people stop multitasking. You'll see that they put down their phones and actually look at you. So stop trying to win a race that doesn't exist. When you try to be better than your best, you lose. And when you stay within your calm, you win the room. Speed stress is a choice. Calm is a place. Own the clock, and you'll own the conversation. Anyway, I'm Richard Watson. This is Anglais the Easy Way. Catch you next time.